How can I recover an Outlook password without resetting it? Hi, everyone. Leo Notenboom here for askleo.com. Here's the question. I've seen all the answers about how to reset my Outlook password, but that's not what I want. I want to know my existing password. I don't want to change it. You probably can't. I want to be very clear about that. And it's also for some very important reasons. I will explain that and give you a couple of straws to grasp at that, if you're lucky, may be able to show you your password. But if they work, you probably knew about them already. Now, to be clear, to start, we're talking about Outlook.com. We're talking about the online service Outlook.com. In reality, it's Microsoft account, so it includes all of the other Microsoft services. But if it's your email account, Outlook.com is where you sign in with your username and password. Here's the kicker. Microsoft does not know your password. They don't. They may never have actually even seen it. The way that passwords are stored is that they're not stored directly. A mathematical function is performed on the password when you set the password. That results in a number that's typically called a hash. That hash is what's stored on Microsoft's servers. The hash is one way, which means that given the password, you can create the hash. But given a hash, you can't reverse engineer the password. So what happens is you set the password, the hash is created, and the hash is stored in Microsoft's account database. Sometime later, you come on and you log in. You type in the correct password. It generates the exact same hash. Microsoft sees that what you generated matches what it stored, and therefore you must have typed in the correct password. But bottom line is, Microsoft isn't going to tell you your password because they don't know your password. There just is no way for them to do it, and it is proper security. In fact, if there is any service that actually can tell you your password, they're not doing security right. So, what are those straws? I have two. One, and here we are, we'll take a look over here on Windows 11. I've got Outlook.com open, and I have my password vault. If you are running a password vault, you're saving your passwords in a vault, then almost every vault has the ability to, in this case, reveal the password. Obviously, I'm not going to show you the password, but the point is, I can see the actual password here. Now, even if your password vault doesn't have the ability to just display the password, you can copy the password in almost all of them. In one password, you just click on it, and it's copied to the clipboard. Now, I could do something like fire up Notepad, paste in what showed up in the clipboard, and I can see my password. So if you've got it in a password vault, you can see what it is today. What if you're not using a password vault? What if you're using just your browser? Well, browsers also have their own password vault, if you will. They offer to remember passwords for you. So one of the things you can do is see if your browser has remembered the password for your Outlook.com account and if it will show it to you. So you've probably noticed that I've switched to a different computer with a different browser. It's Windows 10. That's not important. What's important here is that I'm running Edge, but this time there is no password manager installed on this machine. That means that Edge is responsible for any password saving. So what can we see? If we go to the triple dots, the ellipses in the upper right, click on that, click on Settings, scroll down and click on Passwords, you'll see that there it lists live.com. Because Outlook.com is part of Microsoft, that same account can be used to log into many different Microsoft services. Outlook.com, OneDrive.com, Office, and others, I'm sure. So what happens when you sign in is that all of the sign-in stuff, all of the account management stuff is handled on a variation of the live.com domain. In fact, if we now take a quick look at the actual URL that's showing above our Outlook.com mail, it's actually outlook.live.com. So it's live.com that is storing your Microsoft password that's being used for Outlook.com. I'll click on it. And now it's asking me for my password. This is a security measure. It's asking me for the password, my user account password on this machine. That's a security issue because you don't want somebody to just be able to walk up to this machine and do what I'm about to do. So, signing in, and there it is. There's the information for this account. Of course, it's showing you the URL and the username, of course, up on top. And there's the password. Same thing. There is a little icon here, that's an eyeball in case you didn't recognize it, that says show password. If I were to click on it, and I'm not going to, it would show the actual password. Or alternately, you can click on this icon here and copy the password to a clipboard. But the bottom line here is that this will show you your current password in Edge. Now, I do have to be clear. This example was, of course, Edge. And my prior example with the password manager was 1Password. Depending on which browser you're using, depending on which password manager you're using, the actual steps may be a little bit different. But the possibility is there. One thing I'm going to suggest you do is check all your machines. If you sign into multiple machines, then check them all. In other words, check Edge on this machine. Check Edge on that machine. Check Edge on the other machine if there's a chance you've ever signed into Outlook.com on any of them. Edge offers to synchronize all this information across different machines, but a lot of people don't. They choose not to do that. And that means that each of these password vaults, if you will, in Edge are separate from one another. And one could have your Outlook password and the others couldn't. And the same is true for browsers. If you use multiple browsers, if there's another browser that you may have used to sign into Outlook.com, check it too. See if it remembered the password and if it'll show it to you. But like I said, by and large, your chances are pretty slim. My recommendation is that unless something lucky happens with respect to one of your password vaults or browsers, your only recourse is to perform a password reset, set a new password, and don't forget it. For updates, for comments, for links related to this topic and more, visit askleo.com/168716. I'm Leo Notenboom. This is askleo.com. Thanks for watching.